This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
The Cowboys are on the clock.
Your war room for insider news and draft analysis from deep within the confines of Cowboys headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
The Dallas Cowboys select Leighton Vander Esch.
And now, your hosts, Dane Brugler, David Hellman, and Brian Broaddus.
Well, it's 21 days until the 2019 NFL Draft. And you have the Draft Show here, trying to get you once again ready for that. It's Brian Broaddus, Dane Brugler, David Hellman, Kent Garrison, executive producing. Gentlemen, are we feeling any better about this? I know, Dane, last week you were a little nervous. You any closer? You any closer to feeling better about things?
There's always another player. You know?
Always another player?
Always another player to look at.
How about another 30-day visit guy you didn't think about, huh?
Yeah, well, another guy to figure out, know, to do one more extra game.
Yeah.
See a little bit more tape. You never want to feel like it's incomplete.
Right.
When you look at these players, it's as an evaluator, your job is to be an artist and paint a picture of what that player is.
Amen.
And you want to make sure you have everything that you need to paint the most accurate picture you can. So we're still learning about some of these guys. Most of the hay's in the barn at this point.
Sure.
But to kind of spin it towards what NFL teams are doing.
Yeah.
Now's the time to really stack the board, finalize it, and have some of those brawls about, okay, who are we really looking at? Some of these wide receivers where their tags are touching, who's going to get the edge, some other positions as well. So it's going to be important next 3 weeks.
I saw, makes me think of something I saw on Twitter this week. John Harbaugh, the Ravens coach, said he'd love to see the draft moved up. So with everything you just said about how, you never feel like it's complete, how would you feel about that?
From my standpoint, it's, I'm a one-person scouting department.
Yeah.
So it's, a little different for me. But I've heard that he's not the first to say that. And there's some in the NFL who champion for the draft before free agency. And, right after the season, that's when you get into some of these all-star games and the combine and the draft, like just boom, 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 get it done with. Scouts, they're on the road all year. So it would move up a lot of things logistically in terms of when you build the board. And I don't know, I'm a creature of habit. I like having this time to, take everything in and, debate with yourself and with others. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that to me, I understand where Coach is coming from there because I would like to see the draft move up myself. I really would. I would feel like that the teams would be actually better prepared. You got these pro days. And so I used to think that but you're getting so many kids running at the combine now and you're getting workouts that the pro days used to be the only way you were going to get times. Because these kids wouldn't run at the combine.
Yeah, they feel almost obsolete these days.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden,
except for a few special circumstances per year.
Now, the reason, and it's interesting that a coach would bring that up to move the draft up, because from the scouting perspective, the scouts would probably love that because it would mean the coaches couldn't catch up to what's going on in the draft.
Keep the coaches from getting their
that's what I'm saying.
Paws on the draft.
Yeah,
notes.
There's some coaches that are really, really good evaluators. This head coach here is an excellent evaluator. He really is. If you look at the way this football team has been built, he is an excellent evaluator. But there's a lot of these coaches now that don't have the opportunity. They're thinking, oh, okay, well, now we're starting to watch tape. Now we're having this. Now we're having that. They haven't really caught up.
Yeah.
The coaches need more time. The scouts don't. Scouts have seen, like Dane said, scouts have seen all this.
And we always joke, like every year, as it gets later in the draft process, like narratives start changing when the coaches get involved.
Coaches get involved. A lot of times it'll mess up a draft.
A guy.
Because we don't call third down defenses.
Yeah.
I know I don't.
Yeah.
I never went down on the field and said, hey, Coach Holmgren, Brett needs to throw a sprint right option here. I never did that.
I'm intrigued by the possibility. It'll never happen because the league is going to monopolize every way it can, and having the draft basically
have 4
in May.
weeks off. That's all we have.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Stretching out.
It's an interesting thought, though.
Stretching out the calendar really helps keep the NFL in the discussion.
Sure does.
There's not going to change, but it would be interesting to a lot of teams will build their board before the combine.
Yeah,
and that way they have some at least a base going into the combine. But it is interesting when some teams they'll take a picture of that board before the combine.
We did every year.
Yeah, and then
We did every year.
after,
Yeah.
you take a before and after picture, and then after the draft, 3 years down the road, you go back and look and say, okay, were we more correct, more accurate pre-combine, and then did we allow the testing to skew our thinking, what we saw on the field, and then, or did it help? Both ways.
I got in a discussion with Gil Brandt this morning about this, about boards and stuff, because
Right.
Gil went through our Star magazine, which is out. I'm going to give you all the details of the next break of how you pick that up. But Gil went through, and he was not as high on Elijah Holyfield as I was, and I kind of shamed him in a way of saying, of somebody that evaluates tape that was as important to you as evaluation, of that. How would you not evaluate Holyfield and say that he doesn't have the type of traits you're looking for in a back? He goes, well, he just doesn't run well enough. I said, Gilly, you look at the tape. You look at the tape, and also he was very critical of Rapp, the Washington safety.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I go
4.74.
4.74, and we're going to get into that. That's something I want to do here in the next, at least the opening segment. I know we kind of
sorry, I took that off track.
No,
That's
it's
my
quite
fault.
all right. But I want to get into what are going to be the discussions in these war rooms now. Are scouts going to be, Dane and Dave, are they going to be affected by the way these guys ran? Are they going to be affected that Thompson from Alabama, the safety who we all thought was the best one coming into this process, has not run a 40-yard dash? Are we going to get affected by Rapp's time, and are we going to get affected by Holyfield's time? Are we going to get affected, by the time of Jacobs from Alabama? What are scouts going to be fighting for, and what are they going to be fighting against? Are there going to be people in that room that's going to say you cannot take it? For example, Jawan Williams, the corner from Vanderbilt. There's going to be people that are going to love him in this draft room. And there's going to be people that absolutely don't, because of what you said. He doesn't run well enough.
Right.
Or the time's not. So I want to get into that. Your thought, is there a group of players, all these wide receivers, you mentioned that. How are you going to stack that?
Right.
How do you stack all these defensive ends? How do you stack the safeties? With all the information that's coming in, where do you think the biggest fights are going to be in draft rooms around the country?
I think it's going to be these receivers, because we've said it since the start. We don't have a receiver in this draft that's a locked top 20 pick, but after that, between picks 20 and 100, it's going to be loaded, and so it's just a matter of who do we prefer. And even look at this team with the Cowboys. They brought in Emmanuel Hall.
Yep.
They brought in McCall Hardman.
Yep.
They brought in Deebo Samuel.
Yep.
These are all 3 potential top 100 picks, and more teams are going to have more wide receivers on the board, and then to stack those wide receivers, what do you prefer? It's going to be an interesting conversation with Deebo. He's not the burner that those other 2 guys are, but he's a more polished receiver. And so, what do you value? And so, it's these wide receiver conversations are going to be fascinating. With when you throw in some of the bigger guys like your Hakeem Butler, your N'Keal Harry, Kelvin Harmons.
Right.
How do you separate the bigger guys from an Andy Isabella, from a McCole Hardman? Some of the smaller guys. So the wide receivers are going to be fascinating to stack, and then the debate about where they should be stacked.
Do you feel like, what do you make of what the Cowboys have done then at wide receiver? They added Cobb. And they have a group of receivers. They did it by committee last year, but they're still, the committee's there with the addition of Cobb. We saw what they were able to do with Amari Cooper.
I wrote this week. It's pinned on my Twitter profile, and just did a little basic draft primer. So, for everything you just said, Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup are the only guys here with long-term futures. It might be fun to draft a young guy on a 4-year deal, and that gives your receiver core a long-term direction, because then you've got Gallup for 3 more years, new guy for 4 more years, and whatever Cooper winds up signing, it'll be long. It'll be 4, 5, 6 years. On the other side of that, you have Randall Cobb, Tavon Austin, and Allen Hurns, who are all here. And then that doesn't even include Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, Lance Lenoir, and I'll even throw in Devin Smith, because who knows, maybe he can get right. So you obviously don't need a receiver. But that's what I've been saying from the very beginning is if you invest in a good one, first of all, it's going to help your quarterback out. I think it's a great bang for your buck pick, either at 58 or at 90, based on what Dane is just now saying about how do you even stack these wide receivers. It's the classic, like, best player available. Like, no, they don't need one, but I really think they could take this receiver core to another level by drafting a good one.
What do you make them bringing in Damian Harris, running back from Alabama?
That's
That
interesting. Yeah.
is the most surprising, and we don't have to go down the whole list of 30. You can find,
No, you could find it out.
but
We'll talk about a few.
and that's kind of I wanted to get
Tell
into
me
that.
more coming up.
I wrote a story about it that we published it 2 weeks ago, but we ran it back this week. Is you can get an idea of what they're thinking for all of these positions based on who they're inviting. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know 100% where these guys are going to be drafted, but you have an idea, right? So the receivers, you're talking about guys that you probably got to take in the second, third, maybe fourth round. Some of the, there's some linebackers that are clearly like day 3 picks. Obviously, they don't want to invest a big pick on that. You're talking, round 6, 7, maybe undrafted free agent. And that's what's so curious about Damian Harris is you're not getting him anywhere but 58, are you?
Maybe if he would get to 90, maybe that's why you're doing your.
Are you saying that?
What?
Are you saying he can get to 90?
I think it's possible. Sure. Running backs are so tough.
Is this because of what you saw last year with the our LSU kid, and you even brought that Geis dropping all the way down? Are we overrating Harris then?
Maybe we are, but even
are we? I got a second round grade on the guy.
So do I. I need a second back. I have a first round grade on Jacobs, a second round grade on Harris, and then a bunch of third round grades.
Yeah.
So I think he's worth it, but I don't know. If this team took a running back at 58,
you'd kill him.
Of course I would.
It would be bad.
It would be a shock too. It would be a total surprise.
Wouldn't it? It would be mildly shocking if they took one at 90, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. So that does, to your point, make it really interesting. They brought in Harris. I don't know. Could you see him taking a running back at 90?
Yeah, I could.
Well, if Damian Harris were to fall to 90, I think that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Like, that's different.
Let me tell you this.
I could get on board
if
with
Taylor Rapp falls to 58 to safety, I'm all in for that.
Sure.
But that's so
not
much.
gonna happen.
That's so
I know.
much
I'm just
different.
saying.
Safety's arguably the biggest need on this roster.
I'm saying though, but I'm talking about guys that potentially could fall. I don't see Harris or Rapp falling. I guess that's my point.
Yeah. But
I would, and do you look at Harris and say they could very well have a second round grade on him, and he very well could be better than anybody that's left in the second round.
So what? Real quick. So, like I said, I don't want to read the whole list, but we know.
Real quick. How many projects? Those guys we projected at 58 last week. Mm-hmm. How many of those guys you think are better? That Damian Harris is better than the guys that we projected at 58. I mean, if you go through, we think the two safety. Is he better than the two safeties?
No.
If Abram was there or
he
Rapp
might,
was there,
he might be better. And I know, there are people that are down on Abram because he doesn't cover as well as other safeties.
Right.
And you never want to window dress your board, but man, it sounds crazy to go away from a good player at a position you need to draft a backup for an All-Pro.
I'm looking at my top 100 board, and Harris is my 52nd player, my last ranked second round grade. And Abram is 37, my highest grade.
Right.
Highest second round grade. But I think everyone else we talked about, like Debo's behind Damian Harris. Who else we talk about? Collier, Thornhill.
Yeah, Collier, Thornhill.
So,
we talked about those defensive tackles.
No, I think there's a very realistic possibility he is the best player that it could be there at 58, but that doesn't mean you should take him.
What did you
Call
say?
it window dressing or not, but
No. I'm just again, we're here to investigate and educate.
What did you say to me
They brought this guy in for a reason. Mm-hmm. Let's try and figure out what that reason is.
Well, I would assume doing your due diligence, and maybe they like him better than a lot of their other options in that spot.
I think we'd have to take. Well, you think there might be a possibility that he could be. You're just saying that he for sure will be there at 58.
not for sure, but probably.
Yeah.
And then, but if you would get to 90, then okay, maybe that's where you
kill him. You're killing him for taking him at 90 now.
I won't kill him for taking him at 90. I don't think I'd have a choice but to kill him for taking him at 58. Mm-hmm. Which, what did you say to me on the break last week? Like, Ezekiel Elliott is a humongous part of the reason for all of their success these last 3 years.
Absolutely.
Right? And he's that good that you have to spend a top 60 pick on a backup for him. And also keeping in mind...
Did you see what happened to him last year?
Yeah, he got worn down.
Yeah, bad.
So it kind of goes back to the argument of like, there's no
Got a contract looming too, don't we,
There's
David?
no effing way that you need to like, wow, I totally brain farted there. There's no way you need to allocate all these resources to have a stud at every offensive line position, right? Isn't that what people say? Like, you don't need a first round pick at every position to be good. If you need a top 60 running back to back up one of the 3 best in the league, like that just seems wildly inaccurate to me.
Right. This team should absolutely draft a running back. It just doesn't have to be with a top 100 pick. I mean, God. Look at Philip Lindsay from last year. This
is fascinating to me that they brought him in, though.
It is.
I mean, that's
when you go
I'm
down,
trying to figure it out.
When you go down the list of visitors, he jumps off the page at you like, whoa.
You guys are telling me how important these 30 visits are.
They are,
and I'm just trying to figure all this out.
We're not going to come up with an answer. I'll tell you right now, because it would, if he would fall to 90, like that would be tremendous value. Just it doesn't mean it's the right pick, depending on who else is there, but. I think in the right scenario, if he would fall to 90, then it would make sense. Depending on who else is there at 90.
So at 90, he makes sense. At 58, at 58, you're scratching your head.
Yes.
Maybe he makes sense at 90. It just depends who's there.
Why do you want him at 90?
Because it's a lesser value pick, and you're telling me that you're getting him a full round after you said he'd be gone. I still don't love it. Don't get me wrong.
What are you trying to get at 58 then? Tell me what your idea is to get at 58 then.
A potential impact player on defense.
Okay.
Maybe not impact player, but someone that's going to at least be a building block to your defense. Whether that's a safety, a defensive lineman, whoever.
Gerald Willis.
Actually,
there we go.
He's not a second round player.
We got Gerald Willis talk coming up in the second segment. So
no, I understand. I'm just trying to,
You think he's a second round player?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. But see, that's what I'm saying. They might.
I would hope not.
I'll even take it a step further. And you're about to come at me for this, but I want the guy.
You've done enough of these shows, he knows.
I want the best player available.
That's a need.
Who will make an impact for this team, and even if it's a receiver, he's got a better chance of doing that in the pass happy NFL. He could theoretically
with the three. Okay, who are your 3 starting receivers here
right now? Cobb, Gallup, and Cooper.
Is that receiver you're talking about going to make it?
Cobb, who has not been healthy the last 2 years of his career, who I think would be a mistake to just assume he's going to play 16 games.
Okay, but you tell me, you tell me receivers have a hard time having some success, right? First year
rookies, yeah. Traditionally, it's the one position that has the toughest time.
For the 18th time, I'll say I don't necessarily buy that because teams find guys every year.
Yeah.
Juju was pick 62.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett was pick 69.
They take Zach Allen. Is Zach Allen a better player than Damian Harris?
What is Damian Harris doing for this team? What's he doing?
I'm just saying.
In a vacuum, I'd rather have Damian
running
Harris.
back. Let's tell the running backs have a better chance of coming in and having success than any other position.
Not on this team.
Has Zeke ever missed a game for injury?
No.
The answer is no.
No.
Yeah, knock on wood. The answer is no. Is this coaching staff creative enough to use 2 running backs really effectively the way the Saints did with Ingram and Kamara?
You want them to take a tight end at 58?
No.
You ask that same question?
I don't. Same reason I just said.
You're going all defense, aren't you?
Either defense or receiver. That would be my preference.
Yeah, but we'll see how the board falls. It's tough when you're picking 58 because your 57 names have to come off the board.
Oh, sure.
But, okay, let's get into this real quick. Taylor Rapp runs in the mid 4.7s.
Bring him.
Good chance.
Bring him.
Sure.
Bring him.
Well, he's not falling to 58.
You stole my move. That's me. That's my thing.
Let's stop with the 58 and hope he falls. That's not going to happen. But he could fall out the first round. That is realistic.
Yeah.
And if he's there, say, best case scenario is there at 40, do you go trade your 2 and your 3?
I've been with you the whole time. I never thought he was going to get out of 40 to 45. I thought him and Abram both weren't going to get out of 45.
No, I know. I'm just saying with the new info that we have.
I never thought of him as being a guy that was going to be there. But if people don't like a 4.74, yeah, come on.
But you're going to trade your second or your third to go get him?
You trade 90?
No, I'm not. No. I know that I can't get him. If he's at 40, I'm not giving my second and my third to go get him. No, I'm not.
That's what I'm at, because he's not coming to 58. But
okay, what if he gets close enough to, what if he gets to 50 and I could ship one of my 4s? Okay, now I'm in.
See, I don't think it's realistic.
Now
he's just too good.
Yeah, we're pipe dreaming right now.
I do think it's realistic.
Whoa. Everybody's telling me now, he's ran 4.74. He's not going to get picked in the top of the second round.
Oh, maybe he's not going to. There's a chance he might not.
I had a Hall of Fame guy tell me that this morning. I told you, Gil Brandt fought me on the guy.
Even if he doesn't get drafted at the top of the second, Cowboys aren't picking in the middle of the second. They're picking at the end.
Yeah.
Realistically, he's there. Let's say he's there at 40.
These are the arguments they're having right now in this room.
You're not going to trade your second or third to go get him?
Yeah. Since when do you want to hold on to your picks?
No.
You're always trying to get rid of your picks.
No. I love the way you guys are thinking. The problem that I'm running into, though, is you told me from initial. I don't think the way you guys just described it, nothing's changed for us. Nothing's changed. The 4.74, I think, gives us a shot now. I'm not
a shot to draft him at 58?
No, a shot to make a small move, not a full-on 2-pick move.
I don't know. I think that's
okay. If that's the case, if you guys are telling me this, we're not doing it.
Yeah, no,
we're not doing it. We're out.
We are. Yeah,
we're out.
So you're not giving up your second or your third.
No.
You'd rather have Zach Allen and
about Juan Thornhill.
No, that's what it's going to take. I'm going to get me some players in this draft. If you guys tell me there's a shot that he's going to be there, if there's a shot that he's going to be there at 50, I'm in. But he's got to get to 50 for me. I am not giving up a 2 and a 3. I'm not doing it.
Is there a guy you'd give up the 3 for?
And I love him.
Not much. No, you don't.
No.
You like him. You don't love him.
Oh.
Fair point.
Dane's playing Broadus right now.
No, it's fair point.
If you're not going to give up pick 90.
Is there a guy you'd give up pick 90 for?
I'm thinking about that. Because to me, I don't want to do that.
Since when? You always want to do that.
No. Mr. Conservative.
No, not in this case, though. Because I thought, I realistically, and we got to go to break. I'm killing Kent right now. I'm sorry about this. But the thing about it is, I'm sitting here thinking, I didn't ever think I had a shot at him anyway. I never thought I had a shot at him. And he runs that 4.74, and everybody's telling me now, oh, well, he might be there at 58. You know, all these people are starting to say, oh, well, he runs slow.
I don't believe it.
Hey, Hall of Famer just told me, hey, he might be there.
I don't believe it. I don't believe that that'll happen.
Yeah. I don't either.
You like Thompson enough to take him at 58? Yeah.
He's scary for me.
Oh, why?
We haven't seen him work out. He
worked out the other day. He did a short shuttle out stuff for you the other day. He hadn't run.
Okay. Why isn't he running?
I don't know.
Does he have a leg injury, an ankle? No, it's a wrist.
He might be the same condition. He might be the same thing with that safety at Washington you want me to trade up for.
What, slow?
Well,
maybe.
Well, I have more issues with Thompson than just speed, straight line speed.
Uh-huh.
So
what's your other issue? Size?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's lanky. I mean, I think he's going to get hurt with the way because he's a physical guy.
Okay.
He won't back down, but he's going to get hurt because he doesn't have a lot of bulk on his body. I think his eyes are an issue.
Let me ask you this, and this will be my final point, Ken, I promise. When we get to 258 and you start talking about best players on the board, is he going to be one of your best players on the board?
You're talking about Deontay Thompson?
Yes, I am.
So
could
Alabama.
Be.
What you're framing for me right now is that you're going to have a choice between a bunch of guys that you don't love at positions you'd rather have or Damian Harris.
This is exactly what I'm trying to frame.
And I'm still saying, give me the guy.
That's exactly what I'm trying to frame. Thank you for coming around.
Give me the guy. I don't. It doesn't change my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't want to draft a backup at 58.
No, it'd be dumb.
I'd rather take a risk.
I'll flat out say it'd be dumb to do it.
It would be dumb.
With that, we'll go to break. We'll be right back with the Draft Show.
Kaboo Texas is 3 days, 6 stages, over 100 artists, including The Killers, Lionel Richie, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Ms. Lauryn Hill, Kid Rock, Alanis Morissette, Little Big Town, The Avett Brothers, Counting Crows, Pitbull, Sting, The Black Eyed Peas, and the list goes on. Don't miss Kaboo Texas. Single day and 3-day passes are on sale now. Visit KAABOOTexas.com to get your passes today.
If you're like me and you love I mean, if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for a little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right. News and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Hey everyone, it's Ed Cahill, co-founder of The Draft Show, and it's time for Twitter on the 20.
Twitter on the 20.
Take it away, Tiny Jim.
Thank you, Eddie. All right, we got a lot of good questions. We're gonna try to go as rapid fire as possible. I mentioned Gerald Willis in the last segment. Kevin says, Gerald Willis's draft grade is all over the map. Would drafting him at 58 disappoint you? I think based on what y'all said in the last segment, the answer would be yes.
58 would be high for me.
This is the Miami defensive tackle.
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah. He's probably an under tackle.
Well, he has his background worries me. I mean, I give him all the credit in the world for being on this field as a senior, but he some off-field stuff, some injury stuff. He's inconsistent versus the run. When he shoots the gap, he can be a disruptor in the backfield, and there's a lot to like there. But it's the other stuff that worries me. I think he's more of a third, fourth round guy.
Dane's got him right.
I love this question from Renee. He says, if the best player available, going back to the first segment, if the best player available at 58 is a cornerback, why not go for that? At times near the end of last year, I felt like Cheeto surpassed Byron. I don't know about that, but that's okay.
Byron might be a little banged up.
Wouldn't hurt to have insurance. Yeah, that's true. Byron did just have surgery. I love this question because honestly, it wouldn't shock me. No. Like you keep hearing whispers about Chris Richard going to look at cornerbacks, and
he went to a lot of long, rangy ones.
Hearing about a lot of long, lengthy corners. Mm-hmm. And again, obviously they have needs, but they've fortified themselves pretty well. So what do y'all think?
Talking about who could be the best player available at 58, I think it's realistic that a Joejuan Williams from Vanderbilt could be the best player available
Absolutely.
at 58. And if that's the case, that would make some sense. Because, again, there's not one single team in this league that says, we're good at corner. We don't need any more. No, every team needs more corner depth, especially this team when you think the contracts, you look at Byron Jones coming off the hip. And so, I think that would make some sense at 58. And again, this team is not a player at 58 away from going to the Super Bowl. Okay, like this player at 58 is going to help, but it's not going to make or break this team going to the Super Bowl. So do what's best, not only for next year, but also for the long term.
30 visit guy that Chris Westery. I was thinking
Kentucky.
I was looking at other cornerbacks at Kentucky. I wasn't looking at him.
Well, no one else would, because Kentucky had 4 defensive backs play in either the Shrine Game or the Senior Bowl. This guy was the 5th defensive back.
Right.
He only made the Tropical Bowl, which is like the 4th All-Star game.
Right.
But when you look at the raw numbers, 6'4.5", 199 pounds, ran a 4.35 40-yard dash.
Oh no, I saw him in my own eyes.
Ridiculous.
He's a good-looking kid.
Westry, what's your grade on him?
I have to see him. I haven't
You
seen.
haven't watched him yet.
I have
Okay.
not. I could be honest with you. I have not watched him play.
I don't. You've watched 350 other guys.
Nah, I've tried. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's one of those guys. I'll tell you. Okay, let me ask you real quick. What about Derek Thomas from Baylor? Do you know much about him?
He was a combine guy. He Temple, and he former basketball player, kind of late bloomer on the football field.
Okay, so he's a late round consideration guy.
Yeah, I have him as a 7th, but he was a 6'3", and he ran a 4.44.
Let's see. There we go.
I wonder if maybe Richard is looking for like a late round guy.
That's
he can
kind of where
mold
and then next year they say, Byron, you can go. We've got this kid we feel really good about.
Well, maybe it's a situation that they got with Anthony Brown. Remember when Anthony Brown was taken? We had third round grades on Anthony Brown. He gets taken in the 6th round. So
good point.
Keep an eye.
All right. Noah just says, go along with his hypothetical here. Gerald Willis or Jace Sternberger at 58. Ooh,
Gerald Willis didn't make my top 100 players.
You don't like the pregnant pause right there.
No. I'm trying to think of though. I think they need defensive tackles. I don't think they need that defensive tackle. That's They're hunting 3 techniques. They're hunting 3. They're not hunting nose. So it made me pause because Willis could play the 3, and Dane was talking about his ability to shoot the gap, which he's absolutely right. There's things against our alma mater. You could see him make some plays. But he'll play tall on you now, too.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you probably have a better grade on Sternberger, but you'd rather take a chance on Willis being able to be an under tackle?
I'm just going to tell you what they'll do.
Well, that's what I care about. I don't actually care about your opinion.
They would take Willis.
I kind of think so, too.
They would take Willis, and I would take Sternberger myself because I think they're better defensive tackles than Willis.
Give me Damian Harris.
Oh, God. No,
I wouldn't be happy with that scenario.
We need to figure out why they brought Damian Harris in here, guys.
I think we kind of did in the first segment.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't do it for fun.
They pick him at 58, boys. Just get ready for the fire.
What'll be a worse reaction, that or the taco reaction?
The taco reaction wasn't good either.
It was bad.
My Cody Kessler reaction.
Taco. Oh, God. Yeah. Argentinian dude says, this is a good question.
Argentinian dude.
That's his name.
Welcome.
Argentinian dude. Knowing Lyle is gone after this year, which probably, but you can't guarantee that.
It's a mailbag question today.
If Greg Little drops to 45, would you give up 90 to go get him? Offensive tackle. Sneaky need. Not an immediate need, but a sneaky one.
You know
because Lyle, if Troy Brown's getting paid $70 million, Lyle Collins is probably due for a pretty sick payday next spring.
I don't think. You know what I think they would do? Cam Fleming then goes to right tackle.
I agree.
They signed Cam Fleming on a 2-year deal.
I think it
would be a bridge to whoever else to go draft.
I think they are content to let that hang for a year.
Yep. I totally agree. If they have to, they'll play Connor Williams over there.
Draft show 2020, we'll be talking about offensive tackle.
Exactly.
I agree.
Okay.
Wow, you actually agreed with me?
Zach's been listening to the show because this is the broadest phrase. Zach's trying to find a willing dance partner.
There you go, Zach.
Would Dallas try to move Tank Lawrence to Baltimore for a 1 and a 4?
I don't think you're going to get a 1 for him.
I know.
You're not going to get a 1. And we did a whole show on a 1 and a 3.
I like outside the box questions, but
great question.
As long as this shoulder thing is lingering with Tank, I just don't know if I buy it.
If Tank would have been fixed, then I think there's a possibility that you get somebody to give you a 1. I just don't think I think I said this on our show yesterday or a couple days ago. If he gets fixed, I think he takes back over the leverage. That's another day for another show. But yeah. I think if he gets fixed, all of a sudden he says, okay, I gave you something. Now you give me something.
Not only that, but like, hey, as soon as you put the paper in front of me, I'll be ready to go.
Again, this team hunting defensive tackles, not ends, which is kind of a different thought right now.
Caleb says, Dane, I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I'm sorry. He says, how many safeties do you think will be picked before pick 58? How many teams ahead of the Cowboys have a need at safety? I'm putting your draft knowledge to the test.
There's quite a few because I'm mapping up my 7-round mock draft. That'll be up next week.
Yeah, we'll do that the week of the draft. By the way, we'll have our Cowboys 7-round mock draft Tuesday before the draft.
And it's interesting trying to map out these safeties. I only had 1 going in the first round. Then I think I had 4 going ahead of 58, so 5 total, and which makes things interesting.
Who's your 1?
Adderley going in the 1.
Adderley,
and then Rapp, Abram, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Deontay Thompson coming off the board in front of Dallas. So, you look at teams like Philly, they could use 1. I think I had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the new nickel in Atlanta.
What's Houston's situation? They got back-to-back picks right in front of you too.
They do.
Yeah, well,
Did they lose? Did they sign somebody after they lost Honey Badger?
But
they signed the kid
kid
out of Jacksonville.
From Jacksonville.
Okay.
And
Gibson.
Okay.
And their third rounder from last year from Stanford, Reed. He played pretty well as a rookie.
Really well, yeah.
So I think
not a
they're
bad player. Yeah.
I think they're okay at safety, at least in the first 2 rounds. But I think they're going to go. You know who the Texans are going to go after? Some of those bigger corners.
Yeah.
It's Isaiah Johnson, Joanne Williams, a couple corners that the Cowboys might be interested in. So
say
Good insight right there.
Cowboys are fans of Isaiah Johnson. Going back to that cornerback talk. That is interesting. I mean, hey, there's more safeties visiting the Star this week than any other position, and of all the guys you just named, I think 3 or 4 of them are visitors. So
right,
just saying. Paul says, with some chatter about working out linebackers, who are some late round linebackers that could kind of step into that special teams role?
You know who I like a lot is Cole Holcomb from North Carolina.
Yeah, 30 visit guy.
And he combine snub, former walk-on. I mean, just kind of made his way, and he led the team in tackles the last 3 years. Really athletic. Needs to be a better take-on player, but I like him. I think he's smart. I think he's physical. It just needs to be a little more efficient with the way he can take on blocks.
What did you think about Blake Cashman from Minnesota?
Oh, I love him.
Is he higher up than he's not a late round guy to you then?
No, I gave him a 4th round grade before the combine. Then he tested a lot better than I expected him to. So
you'd be a guy that you would say he would probably go a lot earlier than where people initially had him projected, right?
He's a player you consider in the top 100.
What would you do with Cameron Smith from USC?
4th round grade, I believe.
Okay, there's another guy.
He tested a lot better than he plays. Like, he's instinctive, but he left production on the field because he just doesn't have the range that you need.
I'll tell you what, though, he is a guy, when you watch him play, the read and react stuff is really good.
He's sharp.
Yeah, and so all of a sudden I'm starting to think, okay, a guy that sees it pretty well, that reads pretty fast, that could get the ball. Yeah, can he finish a little bit better? I think he could, but yeah, 4.67, and he's over. He's what, 6'2", 238?
When I think of special teamers, though, I don't know if he's necessarily going to fit the bill. Even though I know he tested well.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Cole Holcomb. Another 30 visit is our Arkansas linebacker,
Greenlaw.
I think he's the ideal special teamer, and a guy that you're looking at in 5th to 7th round.
Okay,
here's a good one. Kevin says, talking about safeties, if the value just isn't there for safety on day 2, he says early day 3 safeties. So I'm setting the strict parameter, 4th round pick. You got 2. Who's the safety you could draft with one of those 4th round picks that you would feel good about?
You like any of those 4th round safeties, bro?
I'm looking right now at my 4th round safeties.
He threw out Malik Gant.
Malik Gant's
Edwards. A good player from Marshall.
Yeah,
that's a good name.
Malik Gant and Mike Edwards are my 2 4th round safeties.
Yeah,
Mike Edwards from Kentucky, who's been banged up.
Yeah,
but he can play.
Yeah.
I have a couple 4.5s. Will Harris from Boston College.
Boston College, yeah.
I didn't think Worthington, he was Colorado. A couple 4.5s.
I mean, they also visited too that Corey Wills. The Corey Willis from Michigan State.
Yep. You didn't have him that high, though.
No, I didn't. I had more like
had him.
5th round, I think is what.
I have a 6th.
Yeah, I think it was 5th round on him, though. But, yeah, that's kind of the, I've got to get into a couple more of those guys. But I think the guy they brought in, Malik Gant's a great name. And then also, I know that I could say, that's Willis. Those would be kind of the guys I would think that they would look at. Is that it for this?
I got more. I mean, we're at 40. It's up to you.
Let's save that. Let's save that. And I want to do some tell me more. Maybe we can get back to that.
Yeah.
Okay. When we come back, we will hit you with some tell me more. Stay tuned.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It's time for Tailgate with the OtterBox boys.
OtterBox, the makers of those crazy protective phone cases?
The one and only. They're also wild about protecting parking lot parties from sad drinks. It's why they made elevation tumblers.
Rumor around the crockpot is they're made from stainless steel with a copper lining to keep temps hot or cold.
True, they even come in 7 different sizes, up to 64 ounce, the growler.
I like how OtterBox drinks. Thinks.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Playmaker, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The Playmaker includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized Intense Therapy lip balm and a Cowboys can cooler. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word Cowboys. The Jack Black Playmaker, $10, free shipping.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
The Cowboys are on the clock.
We're back here in the Draft Show in the SWBC Morgan Studios. We're always presented by Miller Lite. We do appreciate Miller and their sponsorship, longtime sponsorship with the Cowboys and then also with the Draft Show. As we've mentioned, we've got some things coming up. We got this draft magazine. I think I got it kind of squared away here. Showing at the camera. There we go, Kent. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that.
It's out.
It is finally out. And the way you get this is there's 170 players in here, a total of 550 listed. Dane Brugler did some NFL comparisons for you with the top players. We appreciate that. David Hellman's got his mock draft in there. We got a 7-round mock for the Cowboys. Gil Brandt, who argued with me this morning about, it's always great to have a Hall of Famer argue with you about players. The needs for every position for the Cowboys and stuff like that. You could get this, the printed edition, at shop.dallascowboys.com. They're at the Fan United stores here at the Star and selected Barnes & Nobles and other retail outlets. So there's also a digital version of this, too, that we can get out there as well. So make sure you visit dallascowboys.com/star for more details. Dane Brugler, the Beast, will be out next week, or will hopefully be out next week. He's waiting on a couple of final pro days. So make sure you check out DP Brugler, and he will have that information all for you. So if you want to get the Star, you got all that, Star Magazine, and then Dane's on his Twitter, DP Brugler, and we'll go. David Hellman, let's do a little Tell Me More.
The great thing about waiting till later in the draft cycle to do Tell Me More is that you can pay attention to news going on with the Cowboys' draft interests and then pick names that are beneficial and make you sound smart.
Yep, there you go.
We kind of touched on one of them in the last segment. Tell me more about Boston College safety Will Harris.
Will Harris.
Senior Bowl guy. Not a lot of college production.
Yeah.
But I think he has good traits. Pretty rangy. I want to see better read, react, anticipation from him. But I think he moves well. I think he's tough. So I think he can hold up versus the run and the pass. He's not a playmaker.
Yeah.
But I think there are functional traits that will keep him in the NFL.
No, he's absolutely right. And when you watch his tape, you're like, okay. You're kind of waiting for him to do something. And then, he'll find a way. I think the thing that Dane said the best about his traits, I think he's a good athlete. And I think when he sees it, he can go. You can see the 4.41 speed that he has. When he has to make one of the best plays I saw, they switched to coverage. Him and a corner switched to coverage on a route that went down the field. And usually safeties get caught having to chase. he just naturally just turned and ran with the safety. So it showed me that he knew what his assignment was. It also showed me he had the athletic ability to carry the wide receiver down the field. So I like him. I had him personally in the 5th round. I had a
4-5 on him.
So that's kind of where
close,
we're at. Yeah.
I really would like it if the Cowboys drafted a running back in a sensible slot.
Okay.
Not at pick 58.
Okay.
Day 3. So with that in mind, tell me more about Miami's Travis Homer.
A young guy. He's one of the youngest in this class. He doesn't turn, I think, 21 until August. So young kid.
Thanks, Mickey.
5'10", 201, 4.48 in the 40. I was pretty encouraged by his pass pro.
Yeah.
Like, he'll step up and do it. He's more of a slasher.
Yep.
One cut guy and go, and he'll run through contacts, but he's not overly powerful. But he's a guy in the later rounds that I wouldn't mind adding to my team.
Yeah, I think that Dane's absolutely right about him. Once again, I think this guy's really aware to pick up blitzes, which is really, I was encouraged by that because he's 5'10", 3, 201. The 4.48 looks legitimate. I thought he had great patience as a runner too. You would see like the blocks kind of develop or start to develop, and it wasn't always clean. And then he would wait, and then he's up and through the hole. So yeah, I felt like that he played with a little bit more power. I thought there were times where I watched him lower the shoulder, try and run through guys. He'll bounce off guys, carry the ball, carries his pads well. I think that there's some complete back traits to his game. Again, not a lot of catching, but the times that he did catch, I thought he was pretty comfortable doing that. He had to adjust. The ball was behind him. He adjusts to it a couple different times in the flat, and then gets up the field. So
where am I getting him?
He's probably more of like a 5th, 6th round type of
between 5 and 7 somewhere.
Yeah, he's somewhere probably more closer to 6. I know you said 5 to 7, but he's probably closer to a 6th round guy is really what he is.
Speaking of tall cornerbacks, got my eye on a 6'2" guy out of Penn State by the name of Amani Oruwariye.
Nice job.
Thank you.
I'm still working on it.
I wrote out the
I
wrote out the phonetic spelling on my notes.
There you go.
I'm still working on him. People like him a lot more than I do. I don't know. I like him.
Yeah.
But I don't like. He didn't make my top 100 players.
Right.
He just missed. He's more of a early fourth round guy to me. I don't know. I mean, you like the size. He's 6'1.5". He tested okay with a 4.47 in the 40.
Right.
He's allergic to tackling.
That's true.
Most corners are.
Mm-hmm.
But I need my guy to get him on the ground.
Yeah, I hear you.
He's he's ultra conservative as a run defender. I think when the ball's in the air and he can locate it, he can be a playmaker. He'll go and get the football, but he has to locate it first.
Yeah, that's the problem. He lost the Michigan State game because he couldn't find the ball on a play.
Felton Davis.
Yeah, Felton got over the top of him. Yeah, and so to me, and Dane's right about him, I do think this guy's got some quick-footedness to him in reaction. The problem is I don't think he plays a very good balance.
No, he's not.
Yeah, it's just that's all. And if my corner doesn't play with balance, yes. I'm out. If he doesn't tackle, doesn't defend the ball, you know me. I always like these guys that are able to defend inside routes.
Y'all aren't giving me a lot to work with here, other than the size.
My final line of his report checks 2 important boxes with his length and intelligence, but his average speed and inability to maintain his balance and coverage likely limits him to a zone-based scheme.
Yeah.
Not loving it, guys.
That means he's going to be an All-Pro next year.
Probably for this team.
Rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Another guy that we mentioned in the last segment, we know he's. I think he said he was talking to Jerry Jones, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Which not surprising given where he went to school.
Yeah.
Tell me more about Arkansas linebacker Dre Greenlaw.
Dre Greenlaw.
Undersized. He's under 6 foot. He was actually a safety in high school.
Yeah.
5'11",
4.
Right, and they recruited him as a safety at Arkansas. He's got a difficult background. Like, he was in and out of foster care, had a difficult upbringing, and then one of the assistant coaches at high school was kind of like the blind side narrative type thing, and so adopted him and kind of helped change his life around. Football's been a big part of his life, and he played as a freshman. He's been a big part of the Arkansas defense the last 4 years. He's undersized, and I question just how great his range is.
Yeah.
But And there's sometimes where the height will work against him.
Oh, that's
backfield vision.
That's the thing.
But I think if you're looking for a guy that's going to help out on special teams, and I think because he's a former safety, you do see some of that in coverage. So, as a sub-package player, as a special teamer, he's not a bad pickup in the later rounds.
You're absolutely right. And you do see the length give him problems because one of his best moves is to extend, and then as he's going backwards is to spin to get to the ball. And then and I'll tell you something, though, about Arkansas. And and maybe Dane found the same thing.
They beat LSU every time we're good.
No,
yeah, I know.
The defensive line is not any good. And there were a lot of times where he had guys right on top of him having to fight blocks, and then he would manage to get off block. He makes a ton of tackles 7 and 8 yards down the field.
Right.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the guys in front of him are not very good. And that affects the way that he plays. But you mentioned he's the hustle, the effort. I mean, there was one time Alabama, Harris breaks through there, and he's having to fight a block, and now he's got off the block, and now he's running. He makes the tackle. Yeah, it's 12 yards down the field, but he didn't give up on the play.
Right.
So the length is going to be a problem for him for sure.
If he gets drafted by this team, it would undoubtedly be as a special teamer / even a game day inactive as a rookie.
Yeah, but probably a guy that they just love to have because he's fought through so much.
Where do you
get to this point?
I'll get to that, but where would you project him in a defense? Like, where would you play him?
Will linebacker?
Right.
He's got to run. And the one thing he does, he's got 4.73 speed. I disagree with Dane on one thing. I saw a guy that had a little range to him, though.
He does when
he's
he can
running.
run.
I mean, you're watching the Arkansas guys kind of run. He's running past those guys to get to the ball.
No, let me clarify. I like his range, but to your point about getting through the trash, that's where I don't think he's very rangy because he gets hung up on blocks.
That's fair.
But if he's going in reverse or just able to run, he does have range.
Yeah.
It would be easy to argue that linebacker is their lowest need on this team.
And they bring in all these guys?
Well, that's the point I'm going to make. They've got Van Der Esch. They've got Jalen. Lee's here for at least one more year. Joe
Covington.
Thomas is here for at least one more year. You just drafted Chris Covington. Justin Marsh Lillard re-upped. You're set for 2019. But this team loves to draft linebackers.
They do.
10 out of the last.
We'll see if Ben Bloom's got any stroke in this thing.
10 out of the last 13 years, they've drafted one. They've doubled up 4 times in the last decade.
Say that again, please.
10 out of the last 13 years, they've drafted a linebacker, and they've doubled
Get ready.
up. They drafted. I think it was Hitchens and Will Smith was in the same draft. Last year, Covington and Leighton Vander Esch. They love those guys to be their hustle players, their special teams players. They're versatile at doing a bunch of different jobs. And if they don't spend a late round pick on a linebacker, they'll bring in some priority free agents.
For sure.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, last one. Cortez Broughton, D tackle out of Cincinnati.
You like Cortez, and this is your guy who brought us.
I do like him a lot. I mean, I appreciate Dave bringing him up because I basically put him in a headlock to do
You did.
this.
He was like, put this guy on your list. I want to talk about him.
No, I do. I really like this guy a lot because I think there's some traits about him that are, to me, I've got him as one of those under tackles. And again, this is a team that's hunting under tackles. And I think this guy's got some Malik Collins to him. Mm-hmm. And I think when you watch him play, how Malik kind of shuffles when they're working around a twist, his feet never really get up. I mean, his knees never, but it's like that quick feet and kind of getting around and stuff like that. I think this guy's got some of that to him. And he's a little choppy with the chase, the quarterback, but he's got initial quickness. He could close down in a hurry. When you see the hole open up and he's there at 3, he could cross face and then close down. I think the guy plays with some power. And he finishes with some violence. There's some times when you watch this guy tackle that like he's wrapping up and now he's slamming a guy down on the ground. So I saw a guy that plays outside the tackle box. It tells me he's got a little bit of range. But I think that, I think there's times where he needs to hold the point of attack just a little bit better. I think he gets too anxious and trying to get off so quick that he kind of takes himself out of a play. But overall, though, I love him how active he is for an inside player and for a team that could use a 3 technique. And again, he reminded me of Malik Collins when he played at Nebraska. That's why I would look at this guy.
He's kind of the later round version of, or the day 3 version of like a Draymond Jones. You know, like some worries against the run, but he'll make plays in the backfield. I think Broughton had 17.5 tackles for loss last year.
Right.
So productive.
17.5.
Yeah. 40 starts over his career.
I
so,
like that.
yeah, there's plenty to like about it. What grade did you give him, Broadus?
I put him in the 4th round.
Okay. Yeah, I have a 5th on him, so we're close.
See, to me, and I had a 3rd round grade on Malik Collins coming out. And so I was thinking, okay, is he as good? Is he similar? But there's certain times when there are players, and again, Dane's, this magazine that we did, he'll give you comparisons of guys, and then all of a sudden it kind of clicks in your head. Yeah, he's right. And I just think of, if Malik Collins wasn't hurt all the time, we'd be talking about a different player in Malik Collins. But this kid reminded me of that disruptive, up the field, quickness, kind of gets outside. Boom, I'm back inside now, chasing the football, working the twist stunts. I think that the Cowboys probably won't take this guy, but when he does get selected, I'm gonna give a really glowing scouting report. I'm gonna stop down the show and give this guy a glowing scouting report.
Here's all the reasons this guy is great. The Cowboys won't draft him.
No.
Come on.
I would like to think. I would like
Why
to think.
not?
No. I would like to think they would.
I'm excited about these 4th round picks.
Sure, I am too.
They're right
That's
next
why
to
you
each
guys
other.
want me to give up 3. You want me to give up 90 to go up, and I'm like, I'm going to stand there and pick.
Dane and I don't want you to do anything. Dane and I like to hold our picks. Yes. You are the one that wants to always get rid of it. So when you suddenly change your tune, that's when it's fishy.
I don't flip flop very much.
You just did today.
Not on that. No,
we just haven't found the right player. That's
that's what I'm saying though. Is the right player that safety?
I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Oh, damn it. I was about to do the same thing.
No, is the right player the safety? Is of the potential sliders, if Rapp is one of the sliders, polite.
Mm-hmm. When you say slider, you mean
get to you, get near you.
To you or get near you?
Get near you at 50. 40, 48, 49, 50. I'm talking about an 8-spot jump that's going to cost me a 4 maybe.
I would trade a 4th to get Taylor Rapp.
Well, yeah, easy.
But that's our whole point. Is like I think you're whistling Dixie. Like you're crazy. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right. I'm more trying to consider if I would trade a 3rd, which I would consider. Not saying I'd for sure do it. I'd consider.
So we're thinking now with the last couple of minutes here of the show, we're thinking about him as a trade-up guy. We're definitely thinking about him as a trade-up guy.
Did we? I don't know. I don't think so. Are we?
What, Taylor Rapp?
Yeah. I mean,
why not?
What's the trade? I don't want to give up 90.
I would consider giving up 90 to go get Rapp.
Okay. I like it.
I don't know for sure I'd do it, but I think you have to wait and see how the draft plays out and see how it's looking and how comfortable you are with who's going to be there at 58, 90 and compare that against Taylor Rapp.
We do this every year, like Juan Thornhill and McCole Hardman or Taylor Rapp, or
it's tougher this year when we're talking about
pick whoever you want,
58 and 90 and not 17 and
right, sure,
whatever,
right.
It's 50.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Zach Martin and DeMarcus Lawrence or Zach Martin, Trent Edwards and Trey Turner. Trent
Edwards.
That was the guy that got
Stanford. Yeah,
that was the guy that got drafted at 47. I don't think the Cowboys would have taken him.
Yeah,
I just used his name.
Yeah.
Name I haven't heard in a long time. And I remember one of the coolest things we did in last year's draft show was you came up with those scenarios, those 3 players.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we should do that again.
Yeah, maybe
maybe
we'll do that for next week.
Yeah, I will.
Just get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready.
That was really interesting with if Van Der Esch or Harold Landry.
Yeah.
That was really interesting. Made you think.
Oh yeah, I'm going to make you think. We're getting close to this thing. 3 weeks from today, we're thinking
it's sneaking up.
Oh no, it's not sneaking up. It's right here.
Seriously,
we're like I said, we're gonna do our 7-round. We're gonna go to double shows the week of the draft. We'll probably do a Tuesday show. We'll do our 7-round Cowboy mock draft.
We have some live shows too.
Yeah,
right?
and we got some live shows. Hopefully, if our marketing people would do that, that would be nice. But anyway,
let them know.
But that's it. That's all the time we have for today, though. I want to thank everybody out there for thanks to our folks in Bermuda.
Oh, good. You remembered. Yes. I forgot to tell you.
Yes,
Shouts out Bermuda.
Yeah, we have people, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been.
Wow.
Yeah, but Bermuda and then our folks all over the world. Thank you guys for always hanging out with us. We'll be back next week. I'll come up with some game to make you think. For my buddies Dane Brugler, David Hillman, Kent Garrison, I'm Brian Bros. Take care. Have a good week.